Be much better off, but we run that schedule, we've done it for a long, long time. Good morning. Good morning. Beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning. Glad to see everyone here. Good morning. How are you? Great. We could wait on, I got you. We got things. Come on, Coach. We can start without you. I'd like to begin this meeting with a word of prayer. Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for assembled here to do the county's work today. Dear Lord, thank You for the fellowship that we have and the camaraderie that we share. Dear Lord, as we are about to begin this meeting, we ask that You give us the wisdom, the strength, the courage, and the guidance to do the things in Your way and in the way that will affect the citizens of the greatest good. Dear Lord, keep us, guide us, and protect us, and draw us ever closer to Thee. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
What's up, Bob? Nothing much.
We will,
Everything good?
let's begin
Oh, you gotta go first. Why can't I want to go first.
I've got. She pays this back.
You got a presentation every time.
They got to get over to the city.
I'm serious, Jimmy.
I'm thinking of.
Start making me like you favorite him.
I'm thinking.
Start no mess.
All right, listen to me.
Millie.
I'm thinking of a
It's gonna
number.
cost.
Here, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 5.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm a Pisces, but I'm petty.
How much more fair can you be?
Go ahead, let
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to go a little bit out of order on mine so we can get these folks over to Birmingham for the abatement over there. It's item 3 down below, Baker's Row abatement. It is a brownfield that is over next to the Parkside project that we did a couple weeks ago. Brian Wolf is here with Corporate Realty. There he is. And he'll give you a short presentation.
Good morning. There's some handouts coming down the table to talk from. But appreciate y'all hearing us on this matter. As many of you know all about our firm, we're based right here in Birmingham, Alabama. Our offices are on 1st Avenue South and 14th Street. And we're proud to look at projects that not only make us money, but also enhance our community, because we're very community focused in the types of development projects that we are working on. And many of you know many of the projects we have done in and around the Parkside District. We're also working very diligently on the Caraway Hospital property, which we hope to bring back to y'all sometime this summer, because that is a very, very large 50-acre redevelopment opportunity that we're working very diligently on today. But today, we have the opportunity to look at a piece of property that you'll see on page 3 of your handout. We've kind of located it. It is just up against the railroad track on 14th Street. It is very well positioned for student housing. So we felt very diligently, given our relationship with UAB and UAB's continued growth over the past several years, that we needed to pursue student housing on this site. And the reason being is UAB broke through their 2020 admission goal in early 2017. So they reached 20,000 students in undergraduate population in early 2017. And they've been adding about 500 to 700 students ever since then. Their goal is to hit the 25,000 mark in very short order. Along with that, they are consciously growing their international student population, which is a very big need of student housing. They're growing that from its current state of 4% to 12% in very short order. They've engaged a company in the UK to help them with that and really recruit very diligently internationally to try to bring in students from around the world into the UAB campus environment. And those students are very much in need of purpose-built, fully furnished student housing, which is exactly what we're doing on this site. UAB currently has one more dorm project planned on their campus. It will deliver next year, but beyond that, they don't have any more plans. So they're really looking to the private sector to expand and really create more opportunities for students to be closer to their campus, because as y'all know, the cohorts really, that research shows the closer you are to campus, the higher you are in academic success and graduation rates and so on and so forth. So we were very deliberate about looking at this site for redeveloping it to student housing. And one of the challenges of this site is that it is a brownfield, like most sites in downtown Birmingham. So it presents some unique challenges for us in terms of cost. We've got rising construction costs in Birmingham. We do have a stagnant, somewhat rent environment. So the challenge that we have is trying to help temper that cost with some of the offsetting incentives that we need, which is why we're here before you today to ask for a 7-year abatement of non-educational property taxes to help us with the cost of this project, which is around $64 million in totality.
How much? 64?
Yes, sir. We have 474 beds, 207 units, and 369 on-site parking spaces for this project, which is a little bit about a 0.75 to bed ratio on parking, which is kind of good to be at where students are, because most of the students that are on this corridor use both biking and walking. The 14th Street corridor, as y'all know, is a main north-south corridor to the academic part of the campus where Hill University Center is and most of the academic buildings are. It's very well populated. We've also approached UAB about doing a Blazer Express stop in this area, so we can have a bus stop for this area. They've been very amenable to that, so that will be co-located with our project as well. But I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about our proposal.
How many units again?
207 units, 474 beds. And one thing that's kind of unique about student housing, it is leased by the bed. So we had to go seek a communal living variance under the Birmingham zoning code in order to get that. We were granted that just recently. So that is a very unique thing to student housing.
What was the brownfield before?
Before the current warehouse buildings were built, yeah, there was some old foundry sand and metal pieces that were associated with the railroad. So in our environmental due diligence, we found a lot of that soil will have to be remediated during construction. It's quite a lot. It's about 30,000 cubic yards.
But wasn't that Sherman concrete factory over there?
Sherman is over on 12th Avenue, or 12th Street, I'm sorry.
So
And we're
are-
on,
It's closer to the front.
They are moving because of y'all project?
no, they are not. That's a completely separate matter.
Oh, that's a whole separate project?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the reason that.
I believe a group from Colorado bought the Sherman plant. And we're between 14th and 13th Street, and Sherman is one street over on 12th.
And how much is the tax abatement that we would be abated for?
375,000.
Yeah, and one thing to point out is even during the abatement period, the county will receive more money during the abatement period because of the increased value than they receive today. So it's really almost a win-win situation for everybody involved. And that's true of the city as well, is everybody's actually receiving more taxes even during the abatement period than they're receiving even today.
Did I meet with you? Have I met with you?
We met when you were on Birmingham City Council. Yes,
I
ma'am.
know I didn't meet with you over here.
Yes, ma'am.
I brought it to you. So I was just
So we're doing a sales tax
I
abatement?
sure do.
Sorry?
Are we doing any sales tax?
No
abatement?
sales tax abatement. We do have a 6,000 square foot restaurant that's also going in this facility, which will generate almost $100,000 a year in sales tax revenue. That is not even factored into this abatement. We're not asking for that to be abated. We actually have that fully leased, so we're very proud of that.
I moved that.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to go back up to the top, and I didn't get to do it last meeting, but need to point out that we had a member of the team, of Tony's team, be in the finals for the CIO awards. Shri was one of the nominees and finalists for the CIO of the Year awards, which is a great opportunity to show what the county's doing in information technology, and I think it shows that Tony's hiring the right people. And too bad John Henry's not here. I'd mention him and his nomination and finalist for the CFO of the Year awards.
Giving out that.
By is it
And
Birmingham
Mr.
Business.
Lawson received the Best of the Bar award recently.
Given out by who?
Birmingham Business Journal.
Really? Talk with it.
All right, we've got two items for IT. And you've also noticed maybe some email changes in the migration through the regular Microsoft 365 to the government 365.
Right.
I've had issues as well,
Yeah.
but it's the process, and it's not a small thing. I'll let Shri speak to it if you'd like to.
I would one and two.
You made it so easy for us. and
I'm on the night.
We appreciate all your
very
support.
close.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. All right, move on to the next two. These are Birmingham Business Alliance is a budget item of $150,000, and the next is a community grant for the National Center for Sexual Exploitation.
Move.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
This is never.
Oh, I would like to, one update, we did the Last week, we had the Automotive and Aerospace Conference at the BJCC last week. It was a great success for the first time. Had a number of folks that we sat down and met with that have given us a good lead. So we hope that building of relationships is going to be big for all of us.
They didn't bring their car.
That's my report.
That's great. Mike, you asked.
No, go ahead, I'll start from the top, since you didn't neglect it.
Got you.
Gone. You did it.
I want to give her the opportunity to get settled before we do that. You tell me if you're ready and we can go ahead. If you can go ahead, that would be great. We'll make her last.
Yes, sir. So I'd like to give our report for the Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, and for Environmental Services, that want to be you, Cal, or Mr. Nard?
Mr. Denard here.
Dennard, I'm learning his name, I'm sorry, forgive me.
So the first is just a contract for routine sewer replacement, mostly in the Valley and Caddo basins for almost $2 million. Items 2 and 3 are related. These are our contracts that clean up houses, businesses whenever we have backups. Item number 3 is actually the primary, and Servpro will be our backup, so that's why we have 2 of those contracts. And then item number 4 is a training contract for our employees. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get to it. Number 5.
It says item 5.
Oh. The Parkway, the Leeds Parkway pump station, outbound permit.
Is that a new one or
No,
just a
it's the existing pump
redo?
station that we're replacing.
Second.
Has been moved and properly seconded. Did anyone have any questions before we, on any of the items?
I have a question, but not about this.
Which one?
Not about this.
Oh.
I want to ask some questions.
By any of the items? Oh, okay. All right, it has been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That's all we have for District 1.
We do have, Mr. Tyson has a question, and possibly I do, but it may be the same question.
Mr.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a spill over in one of the districts over by jail?
So Friday, we had a,
Same question.
we had a gate fail at the Village Creek plant, and so we had a sewage overflow for about 10-15 minutes there. It turned out to be about 80,000 gallons. So it was stopped very quickly, but just to make sure the community was protected, we put out a notice that everybody should limit their access at Bayview Lake and that stretch of Village Creek for the weekend. We've been sampling all weekend. It looks like the E. coli and all of our samples are looking good, so we've pulled up all the no contact signs and everything else. We think it's safe for the public to fish and have contact in Village Creek and Bayview Lake to the extent that it was before. So.
You say a door or something failed?
We had a gate fail on the inflow pump station.
How'd you get it fixed so quick?
We'd get somebody down there and get it up.
Oh, really?
They're probably manually fix the gate until they got the motor.
It's hydraulic.
Hydraulic, yeah, they pumped it there.
You know, just so happens that,
How do you get that job?
You want to what?
Do you?
you gotta eat, that's how you do it. We were down there, was it Friday?
Yes, it happened Friday. About
We
lunchtime.
were actually down there Friday about the smell that has been in that area for years. And it smells more around 5 o'clock, 5:30. But we actually, when we went to the back, you can actually smell it. So it was 1,000,000 times worse after 5 o'clock throughout the area. So you said that y'all put up, what did y'all
We're
put
putting
up?
out some odor monitors out on the sort of towards the Avenue F side. We got a couple different places so we can measure what it's doing all through the day. We got another couple projects that we've got going on. that are gonna cover some of the processes out there that will keep the odor control, keep the air contained. So we're doing several things out there that are under construction right now. And then we're moving a place where some of the trucks come in, a little further away from the gate as well.
So that should contain all of that odor that's been over in that area for years. Is this the same thing that y'all doing for Hoover?
You know, we've been doing odor control and far more work at the Village Creek plant than what's the little work that we did out at Hoover was related to pump stations out there. So
that was making it smell out there.
yes, we put odor control at the Village Creek plant back in about 2006, 2007. And what we're doing now is we're upgrading some of the processes and we're bringing some other parts of that into the odor control system out there too. So.
But the one in Hoover, when were their odor stopped after you get to working on that?
So we've had a carbon tower out there. It's been out there since the 80s. We replace the carbon out there every 2 to 5 years. It's just a routine thing. And then we have a design underway for the River Chase Parkway pump station, which is right there. It's within about 30 feet of Highway 31 there. It's under design right now.
So the ones in Pratt, when will they be able to tell the difference with the smell?
We think with a couple of the construction wrapping up here in the next couple of months, we think that's going to make a difference. But we'll keep monitoring out there, continuously.
And can you notify me once it's done? Because I'm gonna go back out there. Because now I have family that stay out there and friends that have been complaining about that for years. But once I took this position, I had an overflow of calls about it to see exactly what can be done about it. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing all I can do to address this issue.
Is there a reason at a certain time, David, that the smell may be worse? Maybe the heat of the day?
Not necessarily as far as the process. I know one of the things is people will tend to know if they're gone for the day, they come back at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, you acclimate to the smell. So if you're gone, you come back, you're going to notice it a lot more. That may be a little bit of it, but that's part of why we're putting the monitors out to see what it's actually doing during the whole day, making sure it's not just when people notice it more.
I was going to say too, just to add to what you were saying, I found that plant to be very informational when we went out to do the video. I would encourage all of us, if we get the opportunity, to go to that Village Creek plant. I'm sure that's where the spillage came from. It's my understanding that in which we have a lot of land that has not been developed. So if there's any additional development to go out there so we can improve the plant, we can. But I found it to be very interesting, and I don't mind sharing that piece of footage that we had, but I would encourage us to just go and just see how this plant really works and the different, I want to say different ways in which we sterilize the water. And it is surrounded by a residential community, which is basically Wylam and Pratt City and even parts of Ansley. So it would be a good tour if we get that opportunity for everybody to just go out and see what it looks like, how it operates, and I think you'll find it to be very informational.
I don't want to go back out there.
That may be, maybe our fault. Joe and I have been out several
I've been out
times,
there too.
So we're familiar with it and know what's going on, but our new commissioners probably needs
It's a good
to
thing.
experience and to see that. We could remember the bus tour we did a bus tour one time.
We took the investors out there.
Yeah, we took all the rating agencies out.
Started to throw a couple of them in, but we didn't.
I don't care to go back out there. I smell it every time I'm over there, at least once a week. So I've had enough of that plant to smell it. When I went out there Friday and did the tour, he would tell you I had to get in my car and threw up all the way home. So I don't want to go back out there.
Okay, good. We'll be taking care
Well,
of
since
it.
everyone has
I'll be
hung out.
yeah, and I was about to say, since at least the majority have had some sort of experience, if you would go, I think it's still informative. My church is out there, so I'm a frequent person that's out there as well. But nevertheless, I was very astonished in a good way of the measures that we take. I think it's just a matter of making sure that we try to keep it all consolidated into one area, but I mean, things are gonna happen. The response is probably what I'm most pleased with because of the fact that it could have been one of those things that we just let hang out there and didn't try to resolve it in short order. So I do wanna thank you and your staff for doing that.
You're it.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have a report from our Community Development Human Resource Services Committee, Cooper Green, Mercy Health Services, Ms. Berkeley.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
We have 6 items on the agenda today. The first one is a service contract for lab equipment. The second one is a renewal of our UAB West only contract for medical services for our enrolled patients. Number 3, 4, and 6 are all related. So number 3 is a data migration contract. So it's to support the migration of data that's currently in our old EMR to our new EMR. Number 4 is a professional services contract. So this is a contract for folks to help us build HL7 interfaces, things like that, that will help with our new EMR system. Number 5 is a revenue contract. So it's an extension of an American Diabetes Association grant contract that we had. And number 6 is software specifically, it's basically EMR software specifically for our lab services department.
1 through 6.
I second it, but I've got a question too. Go ahead, Steve.
On item 2, this is just an amendment. It was originally approved sometime in the past.
Right.
Okay. All right. And on item 6, the contract says not to exceed 164. Is that just a pen and ink change?
So you mean the actual supporting documents for this contract?
Yeah, it says compensation that the contractor a total amount not exceed 164, 642.96.
No, so actually this was,
184.
so he's looking at the supporting documentation.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner Tyson's office actually called about that yesterday. So what happened was, there was a special provision, and we actually worked with HR department on this. We added money to the contract specifically for travel. So we have to cover travel for our vendor contracts. And so we received approval to add the additional funds. So the contract amounts, which is less, is actually for the service, and then the additional amount, the $20,000 variance, is to pay for the folks to travel back and forth to Birmingham to provide the service.
Where are they out of? Orchard?
That's a good question. Tree, do you know the answer to that question? Do you know where Orchard is located?
No, I don't.
They're in Indiana.
Okay.
That's what the contract says.
Okay, Ms. Berkeley,
Yes, ma'am.
what do we need to do in order to process these contracts to where it would take a year to get them approved?
And which one are you referring to?
Item 2, and they're regular seeing patients. What's the problem?
So we, a lot of our big contracts, specifically our hospital contracts, we did not process pending the healthcare authority conversation. So you'll see that they're all delayed, but they were intentionally delayed, waiting on the result of that conversation.
And that goes along the line of my questions on a lot of these contracts. If there is a conversion to a healthcare authority, will these be able to transfer into the new software packages, or will we have to start all over again with a new, will these be convertible?
Yes, can I answer the Commissioner?
Yes, please.
Yes, we had discussions with UAB, and one of the UAB clinics are actually using next-gen EMR and all of this. That's the reason why we are converting all old system into new systems. When we have this transition, it will be a seamless integration.
Okay, great. That's a question.
Any more questions? Okay, like a motion on the floor to approve item 1 through 6.
Don't we have a motion in a second?
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
We need to
First and second, all in favor, say.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's approved. We have nothing from the coroner's office. We have our Department of Community Service and Workforce Development, Dr. Hamilton.
Good morning, Commissioners.
We have 7 items on the agenda this morning. The first one is with Centel Engineering to do the inspection and observation for the Fultondale storm shelter that just was awarded to the Sims contractor. Number 2 is the 2015-2017 one-year action plan amendment. This is basically a reconciliation in IDIS where projects come in under budget and we move funding around to cover other projects. Number 3 is the Martintown Storm Shelter. This is to award the agreement to Costin General Contractor, who is the lowest, most responsible bidder. Number 4 is Neil Schaefer, Rosedale Sidewalk Contract number 6. This is for the construction and inspection and observation for the final phase of the sidewalk projects at the Rosedale community. Number five is with the Alabama Department of Labor. The board made a decision to increase the OJT amount from 800,000 because we have obligations very close to that amount up to 1.5 million. Number 6 is a revenue contract, our one-stop operator contract. These funds are used to pay for the salaries and travel and operating costs for the additional career centers, which would be Alabaster, Pell City, and Jasper. And then number 7 is the 2019-20 one-year action plan that we had the opportunity to visit with you all to go over specific projects in your districts. And this will allow us to move forward with the 30-day comment period.
Items 1 through 7.
I have a question on on item 2, the one-year action plan amendment, and we've got about $200,000 that we've gone back to the revolving loan fund.
Yes, sir.
What you said that's used for other projects. Can we use it for each project?
Yeah, anything that needs money that's CDBG related, we can use it for that particular activity.
Okay, so it's not earmarked or anything?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Okay.
So is it any other money laying around?
No, ma'am. But we may have some more money coming in, and we plan to do an amendment probably in the next month or so.
Okay, and that money will go toward Brighton.
If it's
You
needed.
just said it's not earmarked.
Okay, it's going toward Brighton Senior Center.
Oh,
We'll go toward Martintown.
I was thinking it's going to Fultondale.
Yes, ma'am. To answer your question, we can.
All right. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Passed. Family court, we have nothing for that. Youth detention. Do we have any?
Yes, it's approving rate government elimination act.
Audit.
It's an audit that you're gonna have, they requesting $3,500 to do that. Audit. I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, it's been first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is my grants for Virtue. 1,500. Okay, it's been first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Administrative and Infrastructure Committee, Roads and Transportation.
Commissioners, there's 3 items on your agenda today. The first is an extension of Neil Schaefer's contract. It's for time only. This is the 4th time extension on this. Contract was expiring the end of this month, and so we're extending it to 2022. The second is an easement for the City of Homewood's walking track at the Shades Creek wastewater treatment plant. And the third is the construction funding agreement for Morgan Road.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. That's just part of it, though.
That's the construction agreement.
That's $3 million.
So the,
19 million.
the construction estimate is between 15 and 20. So the number in there is the engineer's estimate, which we don't necessarily share. And so whatever the bid comes back at,
All right, we're about to let the bid, that's what.
yes, we do. It's on the June letter.
Then we can go and do some stuff in District 4 or.
Move items 1, 2, 3.
Have a motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You know, when we're talking about doing these things in these districts, we're just kidding. All these districts are getting money, okay? This is just a project year, so we're going on 22 years.
Yeah.
22. Wow. County Attorney, we have some vehicle damage claims. Is there any questions about that?
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question. I never, I asked him twice.
And there's one other settlement recommendation on workers' comp claim of David Reynolds. We've reached a settlement with the family, and I think that we need to get this settlement in time sensitive, so I'd like to add that to the agenda. Everyone will see that.
That'll be item 12.
That would be an additional item, yes, item 12.
Then I move items 1 through 12.
Second.
And motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sheriff has no items to do, county manager, thing you. I have,
Well, let me say one thing. We had the health fair, good great sponsored Friday, and had a good turnout.
Very successful.
Very, very good. And a lot of folks showed up, and a lot of folks figured out they had high cholesterol, blood pressure, other ailments.
Good to some, bad.
good, some bad blood, but
Mine
it's
was
good to know.
good though. Mine was
Yes, I
good.
had a table set up, and we gave out a lot of workforce development items. A couple of people got summer jobs, and it was pretty good.
I have 3 items of other business. First is the community grant for the assistant fleet of Birmingham. I'd like to encourage everyone to look at this program. It does a great job of providing resources for our unprivileged children. It's called Operation School Bell. You may have participated at the Birmingham City Council. It's a very worthwhile thing. While not specifically in my district, I think it's good for the entire county. Number 2 is an employment agreement. That's just really an extension of Theo's contract that is up. And number 3 is a grant agreement between Birmingham and Grove Jeffco that they were placed in the budget last year. At this amount is expecting those funds.
It's a line item in the budget.
Line item in the budget.
Move items 1 through 3.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Mr. Knight.
All right, finance. Unusual demands, purchasing, encumbrance, credit card statements, pack of membership. Do I have any questions on 1 through 10?
I'll move 1 through 10.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Budget amendment, first one is, the attached report dated 5/23, and the approval of staff development travel. Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
Have a motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Developmental services, we have a resolution of acknowledgement. Is that Mr. Williams or Mr. Morrison? Oh, this.
Good morning.
Morning.
Both of these have already been heard, voted on, approved by the county commission. It's just an acknowledgement of resolution that the covenants have been filed.
Covenants are filed on these. Do I have a motion?
Move the item.
All in favor, please say aye. EMA, Mr. Coker is here. This is a performance grant to receive funding.
Move the item.
Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. General Services, Hiller Companies, fire alarm inspection.
Yes,
David Jeff.
we have 3. First one is fire alarm inspections with Pillar Company. The second is a fueling solutions, which is a underground fuel tank monitoring system for the jail. And item 3 is a HR AV package project for the 5th floor testing area.
Do I have a motion on 1 through 3?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Human Resources, Professional Services.
Good morning,
Mr. Regal.
Commissioners. This is a professional services contract for BKM Consulting to facilitate the structured interview process to help select a deputy for human resources.
I'll move.
Crickets.
Okay, question?
This is a consultant to help develop a selection process, is that?
To administer the process, so typically we do all of our selection processes in human resources. We're staffed to do that, but I wanted, and there are applicants on my team who have been exposed. They are participating in the process, hence to get them to design the process would, so I recused my team so that they could apply. So this is a consultant who will lead the structured interview processes and help with the integration of the candidate results.
Just to remove conflict of interest.
Correct. Correct.
Of hiring employees.
Assistant HR.
Okay.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It's a deputy for human resources.
Oh, okay.
So I have a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. All right, I got a couple of tax assessors, salary resolution, appoint administrative clerk, appendix here. This is for salary increase for a personal assistant confidential by 5%.
That's all budgeted. It's all within their budget.
I don't know.
John's not
I don't know if
Where's
that's.
John in?
He is at a conference.
Conference.
Do you know?
Who's representing finance?
And
just the increase was budgeted for that one position.
Oh, we didn't discuss that particular item. The only budget amendments were the ones that we discussed in finance.
I just wanted to make sure that it was.
Well,
within what the budget
let's do this. We can pass it to the committee,
Yeah.
out of the committee, and then
I'll
we'll
move
have
the
it. Okay.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have a couple of other items. United Ability, this is something similar to what Jim was talking about. This is something we appropriated back in the budget process for United Ability, which is the former Cerebral Palsy Foundation. And that was, I believe, a $50,000 grant.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I have a community grant for Shades Valley High School for $1,500. And did you move it? Okay. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I have a board appointment for Glenwood Fire District, Ron Eugene Mayfield, to serve a 5-year term. Have a motion and a second.
Second.
All right, I'm gonna have a new community grant coming. I don't have the paperwork on it yet. We'll put it in the process. It's the Down Syndrome of Alabama for $2,000.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And I have a resolution that I want to put forth here. We have a new member of our team, Mr. Nick Tolbert. Nick, would you stand up? This young man's going to help us in our office and in our district. So, but in order to get him in the proper slot, we had to do a little bit of a switcheroo because of the nomenclature of this position. So what we're doing is just making the proper classification. So Virginia's in the right slot and Zach's in the right spot. Now Nick will be in the right spot. So Nick's going to be with us. He's going to be working part-time, and bright young man, and we're looking forward to him being on our team. So
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That ends my report.
Tell them, no, sir. Meeting's adjourned.
Record time. Record time.